Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today we've got lots of updates. We've got COVID health protocol updates on the Holland America site, as well as lots of other updates for Holland America as well as Princess, and a few other suggestions on what you can do when you're in Alaska. And they are really good. I didn't know these, and so I look forward to sharing this with you. I'd like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members as well as everyone who is new. It is wonderful to be here with all of you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, will you please subscribe to our channel? I think you're going to really enjoy being part of this amazing community, as well as it will be a wonderful help to us as well. So I also wanted to let you all know it doesn't matter what cruise line you cruise on or what you prefer. We love having you here with us. It really is our goal for my husband and I to expand our horizons and to try more cruise lines. And I would really love to share updates with all of you from all the different ships and cruise lines and have our community be even have that much more depth to it. So I look forward to having you all with us, and I look forward to hearing from you. So if you have got anything to share on any cruise line, on any ship, we would love to hear and would love to have you with us. So first of all, Holland America has an announcement on their website, and it is dated June 17th. Today is Saturday, June 18th, and it says, until further notice, these are the requirements for our guests sailings from the United States and Canada. As far as vaccines goes, it says that guests ages 12 years and older must be fully vaccinated. Children under 5 years of age do not need to be vaccinated, and children who are between 5 and 11 years of age may be unvaccinated but need to go through an exemption process. The way you get the exemption is once you book your cruise, you go ahead and call Holland America and ask them for the exemption. Now, if I were doing it, I would maybe even call them. I haven't tried this yet, but you might want to even try calling and say, do you have any exemptions left for this certain sailing, so that we don't book it and then we have to cancel it if you're sailing with someone that needs an exemption. That's a thought. The next thing that's really important to know is what they say about testing. All guests ages 2 and older are required to take a pre-travel COVID-19 test. The timing and the type of test that is required depends on where you are sailing to and from, as well as your vaccination status. And then finally, it says masks are recommended on board but not required, except on Alaska cruises that sail from Whittier and Vancouver, northbound and southbound. So I just wanted to let you know that. And so just as a little bit of going over what's required, just so that everyone is clear, they did say that the testing depends on where you're going and where you're sailing from. So just as far as the Alaska and Canada cruises, as far as those go, guests who are up to date with their vaccines or fully vaccinated may take their COVID test within 72 hours prior to sailing, or a medically observed, I should have said that's a PCR test, is within 72 hours, and an antigen test within 2 days of sailing. That applies to everybody. And so make sure that you are up to date on that. And if you are unvaccinated, it has to be the PCR test. The cruise tour testing requirements, they say we have implemented new testing requirements which vary for the different cruise tour offerings. And it says, please note the specific guidelines. And so they made this really handy dandy chart here for everyone to be able to look at what they are going on and what testing is going to be required. I appreciate that they just for cruising, I'm going to tell you for cruising, and I'll put the link below this video so that you can just click on it and it will bring this document up. It's a PDF though, so if it doesn't open right for you, just go to Holland America and Google Holland America COVID testing, and you should be able to navigate and find your way to this document. But I'll try linking it below and hopefully it will work okay. We're just going to go on a cruise. It's like I said, 2 days for the antigen test, 72 hours for the PCR test. And if you're going to debark a cruise, there's no testing required. And if you're going to go on one of the cruises between, like it says, Whittier to Vancouver, you're going to have to wear your mask indoors. It's really handy that way for every single thing that you do. And so I just wanted to let you know, if you are just going to go round trip out of Seattle, you still need to do your antigen test within 2 days, your PCR within 72 hours, but masks are not required. That's the difference there. And there are no debark testing required. There is no debark testing required on any of the cruises. And then as you move from your cruise to a land tour, a bunch of them are some are going to require testing and some are not. So it's really important to look at this, because there are so many options that it wouldn't make sense if I read them all to you anyway. It would just be a little more confusing. So like I said, I will leave that for you below. As far as it goes for testing, if you are sailing from if you're going to be in Europe, it's just going to depend on which ports you're going in and out of right now. Let's see. Let me find this here for you really quick. You have to show your proof of a COVID test. I should make sure that everybody knows that as well. Alrighty, so if you are sailing in Europe, all guests ages 5 and over have to take a COVID test, and you've got 3 days to do a PCR or an antigen test from any of the ports in Europe except for in Greece, and they require 2 days now for an antigen test and 3 days for a PCR test. So remember that. Everywhere except for Greece, you get to have the 3 days, okay? Now, for sailings from the United States, if you're not going to Alaska and Canada, make sure that you know that you've got to have your COVID test within 2 days. Alrighty, then if you are sailing from a port in the United States and you are not going to Canada and you're not going to Alaska, because that was separate protocols, if you are fully vaccinated and you have your booster, you can do your antigen or your PCR test within 3 days. And if you are just vaccinated but you have not received a booster, you need to do your antigen or PCR test within 2 days. So that's just basically what's going on. I just wanted to bring everyone up to date. I'm going to try to cover all of the Holland America protocols, just like I cover the ones for Princess for everyone. And you will notice that they are very similar, extraordinarily similar. They are similar. So I just pretty much the same. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. Now, a really big difference though between Holland America and Princess right now is the Book with Confidence programs that they've got. Right now, Princesses is just for everything that sails through September 30th. Through September 30th, you can cancel up to 30 days out and receive either your money that you would get as a refund, and then the amount of your fare that would normally be a cancellation fee because you're canceling so close to the cruise, you will get that back as a future cruise credit. That's for all sailings through September 30th. That's important to note. But with Holland America, they have extended theirs. If you book your cruise by September 30th, oh, and I should say, sorry, the Princess cruises have to have been booked by May 31st to qualify for that September 30th. If you're booking after that, they don't have a qualification now to be able to do that. For Holland America, though, you can book a cruise clear through September 30th as long as you are going to cruise by December 31st of 2022 and still have that luxury of being able to cancel up to 30 days before you sail and get your money back as a refund and as future cruise credits of the cancellation fee, because usually you just lose the cancellation fee. So this, I think, is a really big deal. For those of you that cruise on Princess usually and you don't like that they've not extended that, you might want to take a look at Holland America just so that it gives you that flexibility. And after Gordon and I get to go on our cruise next week, I'll tell you if I think you should be looking at Holland America or not. The really nice thing I think you should know about me is no one pays me. And so the money that we get is just a little bit from YouTube. And if any of you ever give us anything, that is it. So I just wanted to let you know that my opinion is unbiased. When we were on our cruise and we were having a little meet and greet, one of our Let's Go family members said, "Now who sponsors you?" And we just kind of laughed and said, nobody. And so I just wanted to tell you, I always give you my honest opinion. I'm not beholden to anyone. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. So that's everything with Holland America. Now I wanted to let you know that we've been talking, about stock prices the last few days with how things are going. We talked about it on our lives, and I mentioned it a couple of times in videos the last couple of days because stock prices are all really low. I think part of it is, a lot of it I think has to do with the market right now. And so anyway, so we've been talking about the shareholder benefits that you get from having the different stocks for the different cruise lines, and I thought you would be interested to know that Carnival Corporation has scheduled their earnings call, and they are going to do that on Friday, June 24th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So Friday, June 24th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And so the interesting thing is they are going to talk about their earnings for the second quarter, and I am sure they're going to mention perhaps a little bit about what they're expecting for the third quarter. And so if you are thinking that you would like to be up to date on that, just go ahead and pay attention. They're obviously going to have analysts on that call, but you're also going to be able to watch it. It says on carnivalcorp.com or carnivalplc.com. That earnings call will be available there. So if we have really good internet on the ship on Friday, I'm going to try to listen and see what they say. If not, I'm going to have to try to catch it in a report afterwards, but I'm going to really try to get to be on one of those websites and hear what they're saying about what they have had for the second quarter of 2022 and what they are looking forward, what they think the future holds. So that might be really interesting. The other thing that I wanted to say along with stock is the Carnival Corporation obviously holds Carnival and Princess that give the shareholder benefits. And then I wanted to let you know, though, that we've got Let's Go family members that also have Royal Caribbean stock and Norwegian stock, and they said that you also get the shareholder benefits with those cruise lines. And so I'm going to take a look at that stock. I'm not telling anybody to buy stock. Let me be really clear about that. I'm not giving you investment advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm simply telling you what's available. Okay, so do with that information what you want. The next update that I want to talk to you about is I am getting more messages, and I think it's because COVID, the variant on Omicron is just so widespread right now. I honestly think, we hear about it because of the kind of sector that we're in right here. We're talking about cruising a lot, but a lot of people otherwise are catching COVID, whether they're on a cruise ship or not. And so we do have a lot of Let's Go family members that are asking me, like, what do we do if we catch COVID and we've got a cruise booked? So remember that if you are within 90 days of your cruise, make sure that you get one of those proctored COVID tests so that you've got proof of that positive test. You can do the test at home and see that you've got it if you want to, or if you're concerned, go get a proctored test done, whether you go to your Walgreens or CVS, or if you do one of the tests at home that have a healthcare professional on a video call with you. Just make sure that you get one of those so that you've got it if you need it. Then when you get at embarkation, you take that with you, and their medical team will talk to you and make sure that you are completely recovered. They'll make sure that you don't have any symptoms and that you really are okay, and then you can embark on the ship. Another thing that I wanted to add to that is some people mention getting like a letter of recovery from your doctor. You can do that if you want. That is not listed in the protocols, though, just a heads up. And then the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that if it was me, and really thank you, Anne, because she made me think, okay, that I'm really going to talk about this, because I also think it's really important to note that if you get COVID and then you can test negative, just take the negative test with you. It saves all the hassle of having to say, yep, I've got a positive test, and having them have to talk to you and everything, because some people will test positive for a really long time, but not everybody does. Some people will test positive and then they test negative right away. And so know that that's an option, and I think it's the easiest option. So just kind of keep that in mind. And but then if you keep testing positive and you're really okay, then I would definitely take the test with me. And then yesterday I was talking to you about all the options to get the test, and it slipped my mind. And so thank you. One of you reminded me. Let's see, it was Barbara. So the government issued tests, you can use them for embarkation on a cruise ship, and On Point Testing, which is onpoint-testing.com, That is where you can go to sign up to do a COVID test. You can just say that you've already got the test and that you're just going to pay for the visit. And they do the same thing just like eMed does. You call up, you talk to them, they watch you do the test, verify all your information, and then you get the results in your email. So it works really smoothly. I just wanted to remind everybody that that is an option that is acceptable. We have Let's Go family members who have done it to board a ship, so we are sure that works. And then I also had a Let's Go family member, and since we do have several in the United Kingdom, we've got some that are going to come to the United States to embark on a cruise, and they're wondering about getting testing. So I'm going to have Gordon link a video under here about getting tested in just some places I mentioned in San Francisco, and then also, lots of ports have different places to be tested. I think it's really easy to find a test these days, but also in the Princess protocols, they mentioned the company Prenetics, Prenetics, where in the United Kingdom, you can order a COVID test, much like we order the Abbott Laboratory ones here from Optum or from eMed. You order that and then you just travel with it. Just bring it with you, and when you get here, you can just use the internet and do the test that way because they have the video call the same as the others do. So I think that that is probably, like, if it was me, that's the simplest option. When we just went to Rome, we just did ours in Rome and it worked just fine. Now, if you are somewhere and you are trying to do the test and their software is giving you problems, go try to find better internet. That's what I would say. I've had some people mention that, and I do know that I'm not saying that always their software works perfect. I'm not saying that it's always user error. I don't mean that. I mean, if it's not working smoothly, go try to find better internet or switch over to using the internet on your phone instead of like the Wi-Fi at the hotel or something. Or if you don't have internet on your phone, go talk to them at the hotel and say, do you have anything faster that I could use to be able to do this, or what do you recommend? And I think that they would help you. So just keep that in mind if it's not working, okay? So I hope that helps some of you out there. Now we've got a few updates from different cruise ships, and so I want to start off with the Caribbean Princess. I have heard from so many of you that you have been having marvelous cruises on the Caribbean Princess with no troubles whatsoever. Then this morning early, I think it was this morning, early last night, I got a comment from our Let's Go family member Lori, who said that she tracks. So I don't know how you do that. On the Caribbean Princess, and there are still some cabins that have toilet problems, and she said that they've just that there still seems to be some cabins that keep on having toilet problems. And so this is what I would say, but so many people are sailing on the Caribbean Princess and saying they're having a great time and that there is no trouble with anything. So this knowledge makes me think that when you get on the ship, and I know this is funny, but like, go try to flush your toilet right away. And if you start having any trouble with it whatsoever, like, call and say, I've got to be moved to another room, and don't stop until you get moved to another room. Absolutely. Because it sounds like if so many people don't know that it's happening, then I believe that it clearly is more isolated. Back when they were having huge problems with it, everybody knew about it. And a couple of people on that cruise are not going to go on Princess again for quite some time, if ever. And so those of you that are booked on the Caribbean Princess, it does sound like it's very isolated. So if you get that problem, immediately go, like I said, ask for another room. Other than that, we have somebody that just got off the Caribbean Princess today. Today is Saturday, and they said they just got off. No toilet issues, no air conditioning issues. The staff, of course, the crew was 100% masked, and the passengers, about 5% wore their masks indoors. So I appreciate that update, but to me, it just goes to show that the toilet problems are more isolated, and so yeah, I'm hoping that bodes well. Hopefully they'll be able to get rid of those isolated cases soon and get everything taken care of. We also have an update from the Crown Princess, and you could go ahead and read it if you would like to in the comments. It is really a long comment, and I'm really grateful to Cody for sending it. He was on the cruise that went on May 21st, so that was even a week before we got on our cruise. So it's like, well, today is the 17th, it's the 18th, it's almost a month ago, but nothing, it sounds like, for them on that cruise went right. They had lots and lots of trouble, so I am really hoping that things are going better, because I have heard from some of you that are on the ship now, and we're on last week, and things were going much better. Just be aware, if you're going to go on the Crown Princess, that she is going slow, that they are still having trouble with the itinerary. They have told people that they're going to miss, like Ketchikan or whatever city they tell you, whatever port they tell you you're going to miss, you're going to miss. But chances are high that you're going to be really late getting into your other ports that are still on your cruise. And I hope that everyone doesn't get their cruises, all their excursions canceled. That is also a really big problem. I must say I am a little bit disappointed. I looked at the website before, and Cody mentioned that they keep selling that itinerary acting like nothing is wrong. I looked at the Princess website right before I did this video, and for sure the cruises on the Crown Princess are for sale, showing all of the ports, all the itinerary as it was originally sold. And so I don't think that's cool at all that they're doing that, because the only people that are going to know something's wrong are our Let's Go family and word of mouth otherwise. So just, I would say, go expecting to have a lovely cruise, and just know that things might not quite work out the way that you hope with your excursions and with how much time you're going to have in the ports that are on your itinerary still after they tell you of the changes. That's the main problem that I'm hearing. One of you asked if the vibration on the ship is still a problem, and Cody did not even mention that. And so I am hoping that it's not anymore. And the other people that I have heard from on the Crown say that it's not a problem either. I do know that they have been working on that engine that causes trouble. They put different teams on to be able to work on it as they go. Like every couple of weeks they replace it with somebody else to try to do something. So maybe it is actually getting a little bit better as they move towards closer to getting it fixed, but that's just my best guess. Don't take my word on that. But someone in the know did tell me that they are rotating teams to work on the engine. So I really hope that all of you have a wonderful cruise and enjoy every moment. Spend the time out on your balcony drinking in the beautiful scenery, and do the best to enjoy the time that you've got there. And I would love to hear from more of you about that. I heard from someone on the Majestic Princess, actually a couple of you, and this particular Let's Go family member disembarked the Majestic 2 weeks ago. They did the land tour first and then the cruise, and they had an amazing vacation. She said that they did an amazing job with everything at the lodges, everything on the cruise ship, that they just had absolutely the best vacation ever. So I think that also bodes very well for all of you who have a cruise tour booked. And then finally, an update on the Regal Princess that we were just on. We just disembarked a week ago today, and so we miss her, and we miss all of the people that were on board there. But Frances was on when we got to meet her. I think, if I've got the right Frances in mind, I hope I've got the right Frances, but we got to meet her, and then she stayed on for another week when we disembarked. And so she said, they just disembarked today, but she said, you left the cruise at a good time. The film crew joined the cruise for either a Love Boat episode or Australian Bachelorette, and I know that they were going to film a Love Boat episode thing on the Regal Princess at some point this summer, but I didn't know when. She said they closed a jacuzzi at the retreat pool on a sea day for this group, and enclosed the entire retreat pool area on the Gibraltar day, which was really disappointing because they were planning to use the pool that afternoon, now thinking twice about a second Princess cruise because this was her very first. Don't like their marketing ploys. So I agree with her. And after our story about Delta the other day and putting 10,000 miles into passengers' accounts before they had time to complain, Princess should have given something. If you're going to close that retreat pool area, you should give your passengers something, because you're taking away from their experience. And like, if you give $100 on board credit, to me, $100 on board credit does not take the place of enjoying the pool on a cruise in that part of the world. That just is not something that you can pay for, but you could try. They should have given them something. And I also think that they should have notified passengers in advance that the film crew was going to be on board the ship and say, do you still want to be on? Because that does change your experience on the cruise ship. You go expecting to have a princess experience, and then you go and you have a film crew experience for part of your cruise. And so anyway, that's what's going on the Regal. And you know what? I don't know how long they're going to be staying on that. If any of you are on the Regal, let us know how it goes next week, but be aware that that still might be going on. And then this is really helpful. This is not just an update, but it's kind of a mini lesson in selecting your cabin on a ship. So our Let's Go family member said that Larry said that he got an email from Princess offering to upgrade their Club Class Mini Suite to a full suite for $1,200 each. But the suite that they offered was on the Riviera deck. And so be aware, on the Riviera deck on the Emerald Princess, it is right under the Lido deck. And so you're going to get a lot of noise. This reminded me, we have our Let's Go family member, Fred, and we got to meet him on our cruise. And he had a cabin that was right under the, I think it was right under the buffet, or else just the Lido. And he said it was noisy. And so luckily he was able to get moved. Was it the Riviera or the Marina? I can't remember. But anyway, he was on the deck that you had, like the Lido deck and that above you. And he said that it was just very noisy. So when you are booking a cabin, pay attention to what is above you. I always look at that for when Gordon and I book a cruise, and for when I book a cruise for someone else. You always, unless you're someone that noise doesn't bother, you're going to want to have passenger cabins above you. That's my rule. Because then it's quiet. You don't have to worry about it. And so also pay extra attention to that if you receive an upgrade offer. I know that sometimes I have noticed that I'll get an email that we've got a price drop for our cruise or something, but in order to do it, we have to move to a cabin that it's noisy above. So really pay attention. Pull up the cruise deck plan and pay attention to where the cabins are. Sorry. The next thing that we're just going to go over really quick, and then we'll be done, are just some extra helpful ideas on what to do when you're in Alaska. So our Let's Go family member, Jack, he said that he agrees, don't miss Glacier Bay, but also in Juneau, there is an excursion that goes like in a dugout canoe to the Mendenhall Glacier, and then you get to have a snack there of reindeer sausage, hot apple cider, and cheese and crackers. And that just sounds fun and yummy at the same time. So I just wanted to make sure that you all know that that is a really good option, because they've done that one and really enjoyed it. Then also our Let's Go family member, Ronald, he said that when you're in Ketchikan, take the funicular from the end of Creek Street up to the top of Cape Fox Lodge. So Creek Street funicular up to Cape Fox Lodge. He said that there is an excellent place, the restaurant there is an excellent place to sit and enjoy all the panoramic views, and while you're feasting on halibut and chips and he enjoys a cold Alaskan amber beer. And so I don't drink beer, but you know what, if you do, you should try Alaskan beers, because so many people say that they are just absolutely wonderful, and it's like different than what you get in other places. So I just thought I would tell you that. So thank you very much, both Jack and Ronald, for the help with those. And then the last thing is just for Holland America. For those of you who are new like I am, our Let's Go family member Amy reminded me that we want to make sure that we do not miss the BBC Earth program. She says it's an in-concert show. And so if you are going to sail on Holland America, make sure that you don't miss that as well. It's on my list for things for Gordon and I to make sure that we do while we are on the ship. So I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for the updates. Thank you for watching our videos and for being part of our wonderful Let's Go family. If you're on any cruise ship anywhere or have recently returned, we would love to hear from you. And thank you for the time that you take to send us updates. I very much appreciate it. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. Oh, wait. Will you please hit the thumbs up if you appreciate these updates, because that really actually does help our channel. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.